Aloha. This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu. Again, not that you can tell from my silly apartment here. Got my coffee. It's about 10 in the morning here this Wednesday morning. And I heard, I guess everybody's talking about it today, that yesterday the She-Hulk Disney Plus Marvel series just released a trailer, I guess yesterday, for the new show. Not sure how many episodes the show will have. And I wanted to go ahead and give you my reaction, my live reaction to the video, to the official trailer from this new Marvel show on Disney Plus, the She-Hulk show. Now, I've heard a couple of things about the show. I mean, this has been in development for at least 2 years. COVID slowed everything down. But nevertheless, I am a fan of the She-Hulk. I loved her in her original run, back in the 90s. Not so much. I didn't pick up on the one that happened fairly recently in the late 2000s, where she's just basically straight a lawyer for the most part. Although that did have some interesting storylines, I heard. I, of course, like her more as, yes, she is a lawyer, but she is also a Hulk, one who can control her Hulkness so much. She's been on the Avengers in the comics. She's had her own series in the comics. And she's been even in the Fantastic Four. And she's done great in all of those genres that she's been in. I guess, and even before like Deadpool became a thing, she was kind of breaking the fourth wall a little bit in the comics, at least in her own series, in her own run of comic books. She would break the wall a little bit. Sorry, I got my coffee here. Helps me think and wake up. What more can I say about the show? I guess it's going to take a little bit more from the 2000s kind of comic book run, where we're going to see her in the courtroom being a lawyer, doing cases, maybe as her human self, maybe as the She-Hulk at times as well. But I definitely hope it leans a little bit more into the crime-fighting, supervillain elements, where she will actually, outside of the courtroom, or even if the villain should do something in the courtroom and the bailiffs can't take him or her, that, she's got to Hulk out and take out that threat. I'm sure that will happen. I can't see it just being a strict procedural. We've heard rumors that Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox will be in this, thus his cameo in Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, who is She-Hulk? She-Hulk is Bruce Banner's cousin, the Hulk's cousin from the Avengers. What took place was that there was some kind of mob hit out on her, I believe in the comics, because she had prosecuted as a lawyer a mob hitman. So the mob put out a hit on her after he was jailed, this mob enforcer, and they were upset at her. So, there was a drive-by shooting pretty much, and she was shot. Bruce Banner, her cousin, just happened to be visiting her at that time. And, Bruce, being a scientist, kind of knows a little bit of medicine as well. Actually, I guess he knows a lot of medicine. That he, he's got many of those doctorates. I think one is an actual doctor. But yes, so he saves her, but unfortunately he's got to give her an emergency blood transfusion from his own vein before she can get to the hospital or anything. And in doing so, his gamma irradiated blood passes to her because they're cousins. They had the same blood type, so it was okay. And he knew this because, he's her cousin. And so he knew her blood type. And basically what happens is after she, recovers and everything, she stresses out and she finds that she can turn into a female version of the Hulk. Basically becomes like 7, 8 feet tall, much thicker body, more bulkier. In the comics, she was pretty much a cheesecake for the most part. Which is why I hear like a lot of guys, maybe not myself excluded there, enjoyed the comic book run as far as there was. And, Marvel did their own swimsuit editions every year for a while back in the 80s and early 90s. And she was much featured in bikinis and such, lifting weights and such, along with many of the other X-Men gals and babes of the Marvel Universe. But I digress. Now, who plays She-Hulk, or I believe her Jennifer, I can't remember her name, Jennifer, I think her name's Jennifer something. It'll come back to me. It's not Banner because she's a different cousin. Yeah, I can't remember her last name off the top of my head. Sorry, did no research for this going into this trailer cold. But by the amazing actress Tatiana Maslany. And if I probably butchered that name, but if you have not heard of this actress, she was in that wonderful BBC America series, Orphan Black, where she played dozens of different personalities of herself, being an exploited clone of herself throughout 5 seasons or maybe even 6 seasons on this television show. And she was amazing. That was basically her breakout role. She's been in a couple of movies here and there along the way, but this is her first, I believe, return to series television, and I hope we get another season of this as well. I'm not sure how many episodes we'll get, but while you're waiting, or when this is going to drop, I'm sure it'll say maybe in the trailer. I think it comes out in 2023, maybe December of 2022, this She-Hulk TV show will come out. It says here, the official trailer, She-Hulk Attorney at Law. So it's definitely going to focus on her legal procedural in the courtroom, where we should see a lot of Matt Murdock as well. Possibly Daredevil as him and She-Hulk teams up. We'll have to see outside of the courtroom. But I'm definitely looking forward to outside of the courtroom, as I'm not much for lawyer shows. I didn't watch the, Law and Order shows all that much. I'm more of the, hey, on the, the beat cop on the street kind of a, guy, or the superhero pummeling the bad guy kind of guy, than I am the law procedural, kind of a thing, which I'm sure this will touch upon. But if they're smart, they will definitely throw in some action as well, which with She-Hulk, the 2000s She-Hulk comic book run aside, they did some action in the comics. Let me go ahead and start this up. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. And it's starting. Okay, we're watching it. Oh, okay. It looks like New York City.
Being a superhero,
where she was,
is a trial by fire.
Okay.
Who's gonna protect the world?
Okay, her car rolls over the edge or something. Oh, okay, we see She-Hulk as the CGI green.
I'm Jennifer Walters.
Oh,
I'm a
okay,
lawyer.
Jennifer Walters,
I have
that's right.
great friends.
Oh, wow, she
Can we
still
give her
looks
a
as
shot,
young,
please?
as
It's an
beautiful as
emergency.
always.
A demanding job.
We just
Okay.
started a superhuman law division, and I want you to be the face of it.
Okay. Ooh,
And
the
a frustrating
Abomination
family.
in a human form.
We didn't ask for this.
Oh, we see the Hulk,
but you
Professor
still gotta
Hulk.
deal with it.
So, okay,
The
we heard
transformations are
that
triggered by
he
anger
was
and
going to be
fear.
in this movie. Okay,
Really
she's
the
already
baseline of any
changing
woman just
into a
existing.
She-Hulk. I don't see how she was made into
I feel like
that.
if I don't transform, I'm gonna die.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes,
Well, okay.
yes.
I think she
No,
looks pretty cool.
I just want to be
Wow,
a
her
normal,
hair? Okay.
anonymous lawyer.
I like it.
Tell us where She-Hulk is.
Jen, you're a story now.
Okay, still a little glitchy on some of the shots of the CGI, but for the most part, I think it's pretty
You could
solid.
be an Avenger.
Oh, I'm not a superhero.
Who's that with her?
That is for billionaires and narcissists and adult orphans.
Wow,
for
she
some
looks
reason.
great. You know, her face, they really captured the motion capture of her face. Okay, the Abomination, She-Hulk.
Is there anything
Wow.
more depressing than dating in your 30s?
This is the best date I've
Oh,
had in a
through
while.
Tinder.
Should we
Okay.
split some
Now
fries?
she's been
Let's get
known
those to go.
she's been known to prefer her Hulk version over her human version. Okay. And so she'll end up staying more in her Hulk form, even when she doesn't have to. In the Fantastic Four run, there is a point where she becomes locked into her Hulk form due to an excessive amount of radiation that she has to absorb when a SHIELD helicarrier crashes. It has to do with alien cockroaches invading the Earth, and she saves the planet from them. But at the cost of this helicarrier. But that radiation locks her cells into just the Hulk version, the She-Hulk version. But outside of that, and before that occurred, she could switch from Jennifer Walters' human to She-Hulk at will. Thus, it looks like she's going to be playing, at least for the first few episodes, with a secret identity. Because press is asking, where is the She-Hulk that we caught in this trailer? Asking Jennifer where She-Hulk is. So obviously they know that She-Hulk was seen around Jennifer, but not that Jennifer is She-Hulk. But she'll probably turn in front of a lot of people, and thus, her secret identity will be revealed. Because she didn't really keep much of a secret identity later on in the comics. So that could go this route as well. It looked like a car was pushed over the edge or fell over the edge of a cliff. That could be the accident. Maybe, the bad guys run her off the road. Perhaps it's just a simple car accident. Can't really tell from this. But most likely, we see Bruce Banner in this, Mark Ruffalo as Professor Hulk, so maybe he's jumps in on the scene, saves her, and still has to, Hulk her out, maybe give that blood transfusion. I'm not sure. But his CGI looks solid. Hers looked pretty solid when we see her all in green, about 7 feet tall, 8 feet tall. There was a shot of her face, it was just a quick shot that looked kind of quirky, but the rest of it looks pretty good. I mean, the hair looks like her hair, and her face, they definitely did a great job of motion capture with her face, and both in her human form and the Hulk form, she looks great. Tatiana. And I know that she'll give it her all in this show and in this series. So I'm really looking forward to that. It didn't say when. I didn't catch when it was going to start. So, again, I think it's next year December at the earliest. So we'll just have to wait and see. I think June starts up Miss Marvel, and I think this is the next one on the slate after that, as far as Marvel Disney Plus TV series. So we'll just have to see. It looks very interesting. We see the Abomination, so obviously he's going to be in this show as well, and it looks like he's been able to control his powers because he can revert back to human. We see the actor there. There's also supposed to be another supervillain, someone of great strength, called Titana, I believe. She's from the comics as well. And I guess she's going to go toe-to-toe with the She-Hulk as a main villain. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. What connection, maybe she's hired by the mob to kill Jennifer. But if she's heading, or at least working for a super villain or a superhero law firm or something like it says, where they focus on super, criminals and the like in legal means. Maybe it's a derivative of SHIELD or SWORD or that organization that was was it SWORD? Yeah, that was SWORD. So maybe it's a derivative of SWORD, this legal division, maybe, because it looked like a big government building. But again, it could just be the government in general. We'll get more information on that as the series progresses. So I don't know. It looks more than just like in the comics, a mob hit might be after. It could be something more malevolent on supervillain level in itself as well. So we'll just have to see. Lots of questions still. Overall, they didn't show too much. But we finally see the first looks of her moving as She-Hulk with the CGI. I think they did a pretty good job. A couple of things they just got to freshen up on some of the slow pans where she's maybe quickly. There was only one spot where it looked quirky around her face, but I think she was surrounded by some other people, so maybe that was a bit of a problem. But I'm sure before the series starts, they'll flesh all that out more. But for a first look trailer for just under a minute or so, or just over a minute, I guess, a minute 48 seconds, I think, is what this trailer runs. I think there's a lot of potential there. And with Tatiana Maslany, you can't go wrong with this actress. I wish she had been in more, but she was in every shot of at least a 5-year run on that BBC America show, Orphan Black, where she played dozens of different versions of herself. So that is an exhausting impact on any actor or actress. And so I can understand her wanting a break, and to be able to sink her teeth into a new series, especially on Disney Plus, with potential to go into the movies later. I could easily see her on the power scale of fighting alongside Moon Knight and Khonshu, maybe Daredevil, etc. We get some big massive team up eventually, a new kind of Avengers. Maybe, who knows? We'll have to see. But right now, definitely a strong shock and thumbs up for this trailer. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Not crazy about the title. They could just called it She-Hulk, and that would have been enough for me. But yeah, I'm going to look forward to the series when it comes out on Disney Plus. All right. Mahalo and aloha.